Hey everybody, Dallisa here, Generation Psychic Medium and CEO of Spirit and Spark. I'm thrilled to bring you yet another installment of Mysteries with the Mediums. We're going to be taking a look at three famous cases today. Whatever happened and what messages do the following celebrities have from the other side? We're going to be taking a look at River Phoenix, Chris Farley, and Heath Ledger. And we also will be doing live messages from the other side for people that are tuning in live right now. So we're about to get started. Don't go anywhere. Tell your friends and family, jump on Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube, and let's get started. Okay, I know a lot of you are tuning in live already. I'm going to bring my co-host on in just a moment. In the comments, please start letting us know where are you tuning in from today, and did you tune in for a particular reason? Do you, have a crush on one of these celebrities? You want to hear what they have to say from the other side? Is there somebody who passed away out of those three that you just feel really intrigued by? Again, it's River Phoenix, Chris Farley, and Heath Ledger. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring my co-hosts on, Maria, Jasmin, and Michele. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump right into this, and we're going to talk about River Phoenix first. River Phoenix died in 1993, and he was actually only 23 years old. I know that I personally, and I believe I know kind of the style of the other ladies joining me today. We look at this without doing research. We like to go in with our minds really open to whatever that spirit has to say. And I know that I definitely took that approach today. And I wrote down all my channeled notes and then went back and looked at what actually did happen to them. And it was interesting to see, what was shown online and what came through from Spirit. And then we'll all introduce ourselves after we get through with River Phoenix. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Maria, Michele, Jasmin, do one of you want to start first with River Phoenix? What came through? Michele, go for it.
I would like to, just because River connected with me I think even before the last Mysteries with the Mediums that I did. And I was kind of surprised that he connected with me, but because I really, really liked him when I was young. He was my generation. I'll never forget the day that I found out that he had passed. That was way before social media. So it was like, breaking news type of a thing. Anyway, but the interesting thing was that when I started connecting with him for this show, purposefully for this show, he kept showing me his dad. And he kept showing me his dad a ton and being like, letting me know that his dad was like the, for lack of a better term, ringleader of it all. And that he was involved with some really high up people. And that in that industry, that we're dealing with a lot of children and not wonderful things with children, and that he was a part of that. He was made to be a part of that, as well as his siblings, and that it caused, obviously a lot of distress in him and trauma and things like that, which we would assume because, but that it was from his family, and that his dad and his mom tried really hard to bring them out of it, but to no avail. And what he was really clear to me was that he fully admitted, fully took responsibility for his drug use, fully took responsibility for all the kind of insane behavior he took place in. But he was very clear that somebody else was involved with his actual death. So I don't know if that means I kept trying to get more information about, was it the drugs or it was laced but he kind of went a little quiet at that point, but he just kept telling me that it was at the hands of somebody else. So
interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Jasmin. Yeah, I know you're chomping at the bit to get in here.
Well, I am, because I got a lot of that. This older man having such a big influence and not wanting to disappoint him. I got that he didn't even want to go out and do anything, but he knew that he needed to for his career to be lucky. It was like this person had such a big influence on his career that he almost felt like he had to do this to fit in, even though he didn't want to. And yeah, when you said that involvement, like somebody else influenced this death, I think that it was the pressure and that he didn't even want to be out, but he knew because he was still so young, because I had a lot of young energy, right? Like he was still in the beginning stages of his career, that if he didn't have this person's influence, you know, they could break his entire dreams and his career. So yeah. I got that he wasn't actively in addiction. It looks like occasionally he would dabble when he went out, but it didn't seem like he was a heavy addict. And something about really not wanting to disappoint the father. I got very big father energy there.
Yeah, lots of overlapping. I love when that happens, because we all come to this live with our own notes. And it's cool when we get a lot of the same messages. Maria, what did you get?
I got exactly. He was kind of pushed into this situation, and he didn't necessarily know what his path was, other than this is what he kept being told, kept being shown. And he was afraid to disappoint. But he was also, this was almost like he was put on earth to show everybody else that, look, this is what can happen. If you're doing this for other people, you're just getting drowned in by all of this. And he didn't, it's almost like he was a lost soul, and he was just being drawn through this process. And yes, that energy of that male, he didn't want to disappoint, that disappointment, and the drugs were just part of this thing, not to disappoint himself, but not to disappoint others. It was still that whole process of, I'm just covering up everything because I'm not even sure what's happening. I'm just like the example. I'm going to be the example, and I don't want to hurt anybody. But it wound up hurting him because his soul was just kind of lost. I mean, he was brought on for a purpose, but I think it was to teach other people of that same. I feel like there's somebody else in his family that he had to show, you know, and this was part of that path for him, unfortunately. But that's what he kept. This was like, he was sort of setting the pavers down for everybody else, is what I kept feeling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody watching live, if you could share our thoughts on what you think happened to River Phoenix and the messages that have come forward thus far. Is it making sense to you? So let us know your thoughts about River Phoenix. Yeah, he was 23 when he passed away, and it was outside of the Viper Room in LA. And here's what I wrote down. My style is I'll sit down before these broadcasts and I'll just ask the spirit, what do you want us to know? What do you want us to hear? And I'll jot it all down. And then I go and look out of curiosity of what actually happened or what mainstream media wants to share. So here's what I wrote down about River Phoenix. He was showing me sadness, spiraling, couldn't find up. He said, I couldn't find up and down, a disorientation, and that this incident felt very out of control. I did write down pills, even though I know that his passing was a mix of cocaine and heroin. At least that's what the autopsy had shown. He said to me, the experience of dying was interesting. He felt very like matter of fact and intelligent about it to me. He said he did have to deal with the dark side after he passed, but he sees his death as not a big deal. I did see a dark energy that he pointed to and said that was the heroin that actually felt that he had to clear that on the other side and release that from his energy. And this blew me away. The last thing that he said that I wrote down was he actually incarnated back in as a famous female young musician. So I sat there, it's like, oh, okay. And I wrote it down. I'm not going to judge the message. I'm just the messenger. But I thought that was actually really cool. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's what came forward about River. Yeah. Spiritual Awakening is saying, I feel like he self-sabotaged and didn't feel like he mattered. So that's interesting. And also said, I feel like he was influenced too. Yeah, so keep the comments coming in about River Phoenix. Any last thoughts about River before we move on? Sound good? Like oh, we can't hear you.
Did I get lost?
Yep, nope, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, it left too. Sorry.
That's all right. Jacqueline's saying on here, his brother says his success is attributed from learning from River's death.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Charlie Sheen and his bro had issues. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. And Susan's saying sounds spot on. We'll take it, Susan. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. Let's go ahead. Now that we've talked about River, we're going to get to Chris Farley next. But I want to just make sure we go around and introduce ourselves and let people know who you are, what kind of work you do. So I'm going to start with my upper right-hand corner, which is Maria. So Maria, go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, so I am a near-death experience survivor. I am a psychic medium. You can find me on Spirit and Spark. Also, you can find me at Feather Sage and Spirit. I have been doing some merging, so you can either find me at Psychic Mediumship by Maria or Feather Sage and Spirit. But it is amazing life to have your path shown. For me, it's about love, connection, and, you know, letting everybody know we're not alone. Even though we walk our journeys alone, we are never truly alone. And, you know, we are blessed to be able to give these gifts to everyone else to validate for them that the messages they hear, they feel, they see are truly, truly messages from their loved ones, and that they are very blessed to be able to have those and to see those. And I feel the same, that I'm able to do that for others, which is amazing in itself. So, and thank you for supporting us, Dallisa. Without you, you know, people couldn't find us. So
I don't feel like I had much of a choice, but thank you, Maria. You know, sometimes Spirit just says, and here you go.
Yep, exactly. And here we go. And this is what we love to do. And we're blessed to have, you know, have that on our side and to share it with others. Absolutely.
Thanks for being a part of the show, Maria.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, Jasmin.
Okay, so I'm a psychic medium and astrologer. Yeah, I loved what Maria said. I give people clarity, but I really love just confirming those messages for people and, you know, being there. And it's funny, Dallisa, yeah, I don't choose to get these messages, so I feel like I am definitely meant to share them. You know, I either work with that or I work against it. It's better to work with it. So.
Totally agree. Yeah. Thanks, Jasmin. I know this is your first time on Mysteries with the Mediums. We normally do the live tarot stream. So welcome to our group here.
Thank you.
All right, Michele. I said Michele. How about Michele Snelling? Michele, you've been a part of our group now, I think, a couple times. So welcome back.
Thank you.
You always bring insightful messages. So let people know a little bit about you.
Thank you so much, Dallisa, and I'm so excited to be here again today. So I'm Michele Snelling. I'm an intuitive psychic medium and aromatherapist. I have my own line of custom, intuitively created essential oils and salt products, which I absolutely love. And my purpose, I believe, is to be a medium, to connect people with their loved ones, and to bring clarity. I'm really skilled at helping people hone in on their patterns that are keeping them stuck. And not only identifying the patterns, but then the solution out, the solution to get the energy moving. So I love what I do, and I'm so excited to be here today. So thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to do Chris Farley, and then we'll start doing messages for live viewers, and then Heath Ledger, just to let everybody know the order we're going to go in today. So we're going to jump into Chris Farley. Oh, and I didn't introduce myself. I should do that really quickly. I think I forgot last time too. So yeah, I'm Dallisa, 5th generation psychic medium, former Las Vegas show headliner. COVID shut it all down and said, we're going to give you something else to do, and completely like reframed everything I do, my company that I have, Spirit and Spark. Yeah, I've got a community called the Spark Plug. We do really awesome things each month, and Maria and Jasmin are definitely involved in that. Let's see here. I do live sessions, psychic mediumship, life coaching, spiritual coaching. And yeah, I do digital tarot card packages too. So if you're not on the email list for Spirit and Spark, make sure you go to spiritandspark.com and make sure you check your spam folder, because you know how those spam filters work. We hate those spam filters. You know, necessary evil, I guess. Okay, so Chris Farley. Who would like to go first with Chris Farley? Maria, I thought I saw your hand go up.
I think Spirit went there. You know, he was an interesting soul. I think he was, again, I feel like he was trying to drown himself in so many ways, both in the physical world and the spiritual world. He just couldn't get enough of everything, but yet couldn't make sense out of it. It's just, I feel like he was so broken, and he kept trying to put band-aids on it with so many. I keep feeling like he's like, I'm broken, I'm just putting a band-aid here, a band-aid there, I'm going to try to do this, or someone's taking me here and I'm going to do this. And he could never, I keep hearing, I could never find my way. And he tried so hard, and the warmth he felt in the laughter is kind of what kept him going, but it wasn't enough to keep him here on this plane that we are on. It was just an eternal cycle of never enough, and let's put another band-aid on, or let's take another drink, let's go do this, let's try another comedy, let's interact with this person. And it just never could get that enough feeling. And what it was he was never in balance himself, and it showed in every aspect, unfortunately. You know, the humor was strictly a band-aid so that people couldn't see what was really happening deep inside. And I hear, and I haven't looked, but I kept feeling like he always felt like he was going to disappoint his mom. There was like a connection with his mother somehow, and he didn't want to hurt her over and over again. I feel like this was something he really kind of dealt with, and it was more of a perception than a reality. And now that he's not in body, he can see that he would never really disappoint, but in life, that was what he kept battling with, was disappointments. I keep hearing, I felt like I was disappointing all the time. And that was the biggest thing that came out as I felt him, as I feel him. It was always like one disappointment after another, even though they weren't. If he could have just seen that, and which he sees it now, that was the constant battles he was here on this earth dealing with, unfortunately. So, and his mom. Yeah, that's what I got for him.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Michele, Jasmin, who wants to go? Michelle's first. She got her hand up before you.
So I just want to make a comment that as people, when we know these celebrities, like as celebrities, right? We're watching them, we're engaging with them in their entertainment role. It's really interesting to really put that aside and connect with the spirit of the person just as a medium. It's very different, but I loved this. I loved connecting with Chris Farley because he was so like genuine and authentic. He came through with such heart, and it makes me emotional to think of it now. But the thing that when he came through, he was just sad. He cried, and he was just so sad from a very young age. He felt really sad, and he spoke to me about a lot of loss in his family. And I don't have any idea about this because I don't go and check anything until after the show because I don't want anything, you know what I mean? I don't want anything to taint my, anyway. But a lot of loss and from a young age and no idea how to deal with it. He talked to me about alcoholism being prevalent in his family and that there really were no coping mechanisms within his family unit other than unhealthy ones, like no healthy coping mechanisms. And so he said to me, I was ripe for so many addictions, and then my fame just fueled it. He literally showed me like bursting into flames, like any little thing he had, the fame just ignited it. And but he said to me, okay, he said he never felt like he was enough from a young age because he tried to, all that sadness and all that loss that he was surrounded in, he tried to lift people out of that and he couldn't. So he just never felt enough. So he thought, well, maybe if I can get this bigger room, this room of people to be happy, I'll feel better. And then it's this bigger room. And then it's these millions of people. And then it just never happened. And he said, so the message is, he said, I've got a big message that I want to get to people. And he said he felt that more was always better, right? Which goes back to what Maria was saying. But he said his message for us is more is not better. It's just more. And sometimes it makes it so you can't breathe. And so his message is really about moderation and coping, like healthy coping skills. And he said he feels like he said, I'm so happy that you guys chose for me to be on your show, because he said we need this message right now with everything that's going on since 2020, that we need healthy coping mechanisms and need to really understand trauma in a new way. So
yep.
Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. All right, Jasmin.
Okay, so it's really interesting. You guys said he was very sad, because that's what I got too. Sad about so many things, never being enough. He felt like he could never do enough, that it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter how much money he made or how successful he was. It was never enough to him. He always felt like he was disappointing others. And then there was this love that he had. I don't know who this was, but he talks about immense sadness with someone that he lost his chance with, no longer speaks to him. What he really wanted was to have this happy family and, to be a father and do all this because, he was really close to his family, but he only loved this one person, and this person didn't want to be with him. And, I think that lack of also just really broke his heart and reiterated the fact that he felt like he wasn't enough. And something about getting turned down too for I don't know, it was a role of some sort. And I think that this fueled his addiction even more, because that was all he had, right? If he lost that, then he really would feel like he had nothing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a lot of covering that sadness up with humor.
Yeah. Spiritual Awakening saying Chris comes to me crying, that he's lonely. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a lot of the same messages with Chris. So yeah, he died in 1997. He was 33 years old. I would have thought he was older than that, as I was preparing for today's show, but no, 33 years old. And he said to me, I'm not surprised by my passing. I'm sorry that it hurt so many people. I didn't realize how much I was loved until I was gone. I often felt lonely and depressed, and I hid my depression through comedy. I tried to numb my pain. And there was a strong bond that came forward between he and his mom. He said, I wasn't trying to die necessarily, the night that he died. But he said, my heart gave out. And it was interesting that he said, my heart gave out, because when I looked after I channeled for prepping for the show, they tied it back to a speedball, which is a mix of cocaine and morphine, as the cause or unofficial cause of death. But he said his heart went out. And so I'm going to assume, based off of what he shared with me, that it was as a result of the drugs that had gone into his system. But yeah, very loving, just a good guy. Very heartfelt person. And I could feel that, just like it feels like the rest of the group also felt that when they were connecting with Chris. So Chris, we're lucky that you showed up and gave us our messages and participated in the show. So it's beautiful. Okay, so we are going to do some messages for people that are watching live. And how this works is we're all just going to take turns giving a message. Please only post once about a specific question that you have. An example of this would be, does my Uncle Frank have a message from the other side? Or if there's something, was it suicide or was it accidental? If there's some kind of question like that, that tends to help us kind of narrow the focus of the energy in a little bit quicker, just because of the format of the show. And so you can start commenting with a specific question you have, and this would be connected to somebody who has passed away, somebody who is energetically on the other side. And we'll each take turns, and we'll get through as many as we can. And then after we do these live readings, then we'll head into the messages around Heath Ledger. So that's how we're going to finish up the second half of the show. So ladies, I'm going to ask you to take a look at the comments and let me know who you want to take as your first message. If somebody's standing out to you, the question is as well. And we'll start going. Yeah, Michele.
I just feel really drawn to Hope today. And she just asked for a general message. Is that okay if I?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Hope. So I pulled a card for you from my Enchanted Map deck. And the card is Cleaning House. Okay. Let me get that. Whoops, so you can see it. And so this card is all about clearing clutter. But what I want to say is I feel like there's some clutter that needs to be cleared mentally. There's some stories and it's almost like a tweak. You just need to pivot. So it's like your stories, you've worked on them really well. You have identified them, and the ones that keep you stuck and the ones that aren't in your highest good, and you're moving from them, which is fantastic. But it feels like some things need to be tweaked. Like as simple as, just as an example, I have to go to work. Like if that's the story, I have to work. But if we change it and say, I get to work, that feels lighter. That feels fun. That feels like something that you would love. So where can you just tweak those stories a little bit so that they're more in your favor is what I'm hearing. And so that you're cleaning house, so that all that clutter is not there, all that emotional, mental clutter. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Sorry.
Beautiful. Yeah, Maria.
I've got one that's jumping out, and it's for Buddha Warrior, and wondering if a dad has come through with a message for me. What I heard immediately when I read that is, don't give up, stay on your path. Oh, I feel like there's a lot of turmoil and questions that keep popping up, but it's almost like the same thing is coming up over and over again. And it keeps happening because you're not feeling the core of the question. And he wants you to go with your gut and keep moving forward and stick to the plan. I feel like there's a plan that's been set out. It's kind of been coming and going, but don't give up, because I feel like it's on the precipice of changing so many ways. And I just hear, stick to the plan, don't give up, don't give in. You know what you're supposed to do. And it's so strong. I feel it just everywhere in my bones for you. Please know that just don't give up. He's walking beside you all the time, but it's also like, it's kind of like when you ride a bike, they put you on that bike, you took the training wheels off and you were so scared. And I'm just seeing this. And then you realize that you don't have your training wheels on anymore and you're riding. And this is what he's making me feel like. This is that event of your training wheels are off, but he's holding you and he's watching, and it's an amazing thing. Please don't give up. And I'll leave you with that.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Jasmin, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Spiritual Awakening, Lacey Ferguson. Okay, so what's really odd about this is at first I thought it was suicide, right? Because there was a lack of something with work, almost like a trip. And I did see a recent breakup. She was really going through a hard time. But it's interesting because it also looks like a car accident, but maybe planned on her side. Yeah, very heavy energy here. And definitely on a trip somewhere. And this was by choice, though. It was almost as if she caused this accident to happen because she was feeling very, very unhealed here and really sad. And something about being up with this Queen of Cups, her mom or sister here. All right.
Okay, beautiful. So I'll have everybody take another look at the list, and then I'm going to tune in and get a message. So Barbarella, you're actually standing out to me, which I know is not a message from somebody on the other side, but I'm going to take it anyway. So I'm going to ask Barbarella's higher self to step forward and give me just one moment. Barbarella, what they're showing me, and you know I'm not a doctor, I cannot prescribe or diagnose, okay? Make sure you hear that. I want you to start getting some physical movement, and if you are not doing yoga or like a water aerobic, something that is going to be helpful in getting the blood flow and the movement of the body going, I would highly suggest it. But yoga and water aerobics are the two things you're coming forward, because I feel like your body needs a stretch. And I'm getting a lot of tightness in through some of the joint areas. So, yeah, I feel like a good like yin yoga would be beneficial. I would also, I do not know anything about like Ayurvedic, and I'm sure I'm even saying that wrong, but if that word is, I'm hearing it in my spirit ear. For you, I would consult somebody who knows a lot about different herbs and herbal remedies, because I feel like there's something that could help. I'm hearing the word activate, like activate the flow to get things moving again. Like they said, get your chi moving, get your chi moving. So with that information, you might want to take it to somebody who does know herbs, because it almost feels like a cayenne. If I had to put it into my human psychic dictionary symbolism terms, it feels to me almost like a peppery cayenne herb, something like that. So if you want to describe that to somebody, but that's what's coming in is like a stretching and an opening of the muscles and the joints. So I hope that helps, and hopefully it made sense. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Susan Anderson.
Perfect.
Let's see, I'm going to go back here. She wanted to know about her grandparents, I believe. Let me go. It's way far back. Love to hear from her grandparents. Sorry. So what I wanted to let her know is they just kept showing me jewelry. Like immediately when I tuned into them, they showed me jewelry. And I feel like this is jewelry that's been inherited. And there's some conflict about the jewelry. Something's not good. There's some hard feelings. It feels like it wasn't evenly distributed, or it wasn't fair, is what the thing I keep hearing, like it wasn't fair. So I don't know if that's something that your family is saying, Susan, or where that's coming from, but I just keep hearing it wasn't fair. And their message is to just let it go. Like they're not in that jewelry. We know that, but it's like hard to know that in our soul, because those things are treasures for us as humans. But and they say, like, let it go, because I feel it coming to you somehow, or coming to the rightful owner. Like they're working to get it where it needs to be. So trust that. The other thing they're saying is there's a young male, it feels like a son. They're saying to relax about school with him. Like it's all going to be okay. So just trust it.
Beautiful. Okay. Maria or Jasmin?
Yep.
Maria, go for it.
Yeah, I was just looking. I just had it and then it just went away. But it's a message from Tom. It was her brother-in-law. I got to go find it.
Alisa.
Did you find it?
It's Alisa. Yeah. Okay. Alisa Marie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And what I keep hearing is it's time to move on. Please let the family know. Stop. I don't even know how to say this. I just keep hearing it's time to start again. It's just time to start living. Don't worry about what I would think, how I would feel. I've just got chills. His energy is amazing. Things were so complicated and yet it's overcomplicated. So keep it simple, but time to move on, to move forward. I keep hearing time to move forward. You don't have to think about or worry about what I would say or what I would do or what I would think. I'm supportive in everything. Oh, it's just time to move on. And I'm going to leave you with that.
Okay. Jasmin.
All right. So peace, love, and magic. You said there's a family member around you. This is somebody who passed away from addiction. They were really unstable, getting air sign energy. He feels like he's older, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, if you know signs. And he's up there with someone, and the reason he's reaching out because he wants to let you know. This feels like very recent energy. This woman, who is a family member who's also passed away, he just wants to let you know they've made it over to the other side safely. And also something about if you're going through some hardship in a relationship right now, it's okay to walk away. You have choices. You're gonna be okay. And this other person feels very much like a mother or sister, and she is trying to reach out to you. So if you feel her energy, it's almost like she's trying to give you messages. I don't know if she's coming into your dreams. And it's like this other man who he feels much older, like maybe a great grandfather or a grandfather. And I'm hearing alcoholic. So this man is trying to let you know, because you're not getting the messages from this woman who's just passed, that she's okay. It's like he's helping her get through to you. Now, I feel like both of these deaths were kind of sudden and unexpected. All right.
All right. Perfect. I'm taking Carmel done. So Carmel, I was actually looking at your energy and asking your guides and your angels around you of like, what do you need to hear? What's the reminder that you need to hear? And what's really cool is the first thing that I was shown in my clairvoyant third eye is this beautiful like treasure map. And they were showing it to me. I'm sure you've seen this on like a movie or a cartoon. It's a treasure map and you see like the dotted line and here they go to like the next location. And so I do feel a lot of energy around you in regards to a move. So if you're thinking about moving or changing the way that you have a routine in your life, I would highly suggest that because that treasure map energy is still very vibrant in the trajectory in front of me, which means that the message that they want to make sure that you hear. They did say, I wrote it down for you so I wouldn't forget. They said, go find your treasure, go find your treasure. So what I'm hearing to remind you of is to break up what you've been doing and be open to new ways and perspectives of seeing things, new people coming into your life. Anything, and I'm seeing the Ace of Pentacles in my third eye right now. So for me, that energy is about like new beginnings, fresh starts, new journeys, bringing new things into your pathway. And the last thing I'll leave you with, Carmel, is it feels like it's going to be really important for you to take calculated risks. So I'm hearing Virgo, which for me is like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. So it's not about just flying in the wind and seeing what sticks on the wall, but instead they're encouraging you to really sit down, come up with a game plan of what you want to do, what do you want to see, where do you want to go, and then how you are going to do it. So budgets, to-do lists, whatever that means to you. But I want you to spend a little bit of time getting organized and then go and have fun. So Carmel, I trust that that was helpful. Go find that treasure map. Heck, if you find some treasure, let me know. I'll meet you there. All right, beautiful. Who wants to go next? Maria.
Yep. Mandy Allen asked her mother Francine, does she have a message? What I'm hearing is take time for yourself. Do not compare yourself to others, not even your mother. Like, you can't be better or worse or anything else. You have to be you. Stop trying to walk in everybody else's steps. Please be you. Please see what a beautiful soul you have and stop comparing yourself. Please. That's like her biggest thing, is take time for you, allow yourself to be you, and stay strong. And I'm going to leave you with that one.
Okay. Michele, go for it.
Yeah, Tina asked just for a message for her. And the minute I saw her name, I heard lighten up. And the message is simply like, lighten up, quit taking everything so seriously. Like, when we do that in life, when we're so serious and we forget about the fun and the joy, everything feels like a mountain. Everything feels hard. Everything feels like a real challenge. And the message is simply just lighten up, really, like, get out in the sun and enjoy it. Like, be young again, be a childlike, and experience that joy. And then I pulled a card to validate, and you guys, you really can't make this stuff up. I pulled the exact same card that I pulled for Hope, which is cleaning house, which is simply like, get rid of that, all of that seriousness and feeling like everything is like life and death, or that everything is hinged on one thing. Become playful. The thing that I keep seeing is it's almost like a game where you can tune into your highest self and your magic part and go, gosh, I wonder what fun I could have with this today. Or I wonder how I could find fun, or how I could make this fun. It's something mundane, something that you don't want to do, but just bringing the fun into it will really lighten your load, which your heart center just feels heavy. So clean house.
Michele, it's really funny. And as I'm sitting here listening to all of us too, there's this underlying, seems to be, even with the stars we're bringing in today and how everything's aligning, it's about everybody. Stop trying to put band-aids on things. Try to come from center. Try to find your happiness. Stop trying to compare yourself to others. Stop trying to make other people laugh when you've got to find your self-happiness. I mean, it's interesting how these are coming through all at the same time. And when you can see that, it's like slamming into a wall all of a sudden. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And
yes.
it's ironic that they're coming through this way, but this is how spirit works. And, we all know this so much, and yet to be able to sit back and go, okay, this is funny. Okay, this is ironic. And yet what we're bringing through is so specific to each one, and yet so similar from the underlying tone of the messages. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I always remind people in these group settings, I'm glad you said something, because, even if we don't specifically get to you as individual viewer today, by being here and being in the energy of this and hearing the messages that are coming forward, there are messages for each person in what we're saying, because spirit would not have directed you to this broadcast on this day and time unless there was something that they were trying to have you hear. So there are no accidents in that. So beautiful reminder. Yeah. All right, Jasmin, who are you taking?
All right. Well, I pulled for Mandy, but then Mandy already had some things. So let me do somebody else here. I'm going to do Melissa. Okay. So I see that someone actually has passed away, and this was really also very unexpected and sudden here. They're trying to tell you that this person was younger. Okay, I'm getting mid-20s, maybe early 30s. They want you to know that they're okay. They're okay now, and not to be sad about this because they are watching over you. Yeah, even more confirmation not to be sad. This is it looks like an old commitment. Maybe like an old boyfriend or something here. He's definitely around you right now and letting you know that he is okay. If this isn't a boyfriend, this could be a brother. It's somebody who's been in your life for a really long time, but is young, right? They've spent the majority of their life with you. Yeah, and this was really sudden. All right.
Okay. I know I'm a little perplexed over here with this message. Trying to look at it a little bit. I'm the note keeper on this side, so I'm trying to keep everything organized.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, oh man. Okay. So Amy was asking about her friend Trisha. Okay. So Amy, I do feel Trisha's energy here, and what she shows me is, and it's okay if you're going to start crying. It's all right. You can let the tears flow. She doesn't want you to, or the family around her to be, she's saying, like, stuck in sadness. So, of course, grieve, of course, let the tears out. But she's saying it's beautiful over here. It's beautiful over here. She's showing me angels and being surrounded by angels and really flying with them. So be on the lookout for any kind of symbolism having to do with angels. She did drop a feather in front of me, so pay attention if you do see a feather that is a symbol for her. Let the family know to be on the lookout for that symbol, a feather dropping, or a feather even like on a greeting card or anywhere you find it as you're passing by, looking at window shopping. Look for feathers. Don't overly look for them, of course. We don't want to just look for feathers everywhere, but notice them when they show up, and they seem to come out of left field. I'll put it to you that way. She did say that she's 100% completely healed. The other piece of this that I was looking at here was she kept showing me a bracelet, and I kept feeling like a little charm off of it, like a little charm bracelet. So either she had a charm bracelet that was, that the family should keep, or even if you're thinking about getting a charm bracelet, maybe having a little charm that will be in memory of her. But she kept showing me this charm bracelet. So I know that spirit only shows us as psychic mediums, at least the good ones, what we're supposed to bring forward and say. And so I have to trust that message is a message that needs to come forward through me today for you and on behalf of your friend. And I'm sorry for your loss. And she's good. She's okay. She's at peace. Please know that. But she will come and visit. So you'll feel her around. And I trust that was helpful for you today. And I'm sorry for your loss, Amy. All right. Who wants to go next? We'll take just one more round.
I'll go. Michele. I chose Karen Munson. Her Aunt Lori, does she know how much I love and miss her? So the first thing she did was, I was seeing a number 7. So that would signify July or the 7th of a month, or the number 7 is connected to either her or you, Karen, in some way significant. So like the 7th would be a birthday, an anniversary for a wedding or a death or something like that. And she's just showing me all these flowers. I just feel like she's surrounded with flowers. So making me feel like she loved flowers when she was alive. She loves them now still, she's saying. She's correcting me because when I said she loved them when she was alive. But flowers were a big part of her life and still are. And I feel like you connect with her in that way. So like you'll smell something randomly when it's not around, like a flower, like a lilac or a chrysanthemum or something like that. And you think, well, that's strange. That's her connecting with you. So just notice those aromas. That's her. And she says she absolutely knows how much you love her, how much you loved her while she was living and continue to love her. And she's saying, thank you. She's saying, thank you so much for all of the care that you gave. And you were just very, she's saying thank you for the care throughout your whole life, because you were always very giving of your time, your heart, just to check on her, to call and ask how she is and all of that. So she's saying thank you so much. And she absolutely knows. And she's saying there's a new purchase that you're kind of contemplating, and you keep going back and forth. It's a big purchase. It feels big. She's saying do it. Like, do it. Trust it and do it. You deserve it. You've worked hard for it, and just do it. And all will be well. So thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Marie and Jasmin, you'll each do one more. So who wants to take it?
Yeah, I can go. Debbie was wanting a message from her late husband, Jeff. I feel like he's telling me, like, you feel him quite regularly, but things have been moving around. Either you've been moving things around, or you're looking at moving things around. He's like, keep it going, keep it moving. It's interesting. It's like, stop being scared to move. I hear stagnant is what he keeps telling me. I was also feeling something in the gut, so it's no longer. So he must have had some sort of gut issues, stomach, liver. I'm not sure where. It's down in the midsection. No longer having issues. And I feel like this was something that was going on long before it came about. Please know to don't push those things aside when you're feeling or seeing things, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Don't push those things aside. Like, he wants you to be aware and release the stagnant. I keep feeling release the stagnant. I don't know what that means. There's some sort of stagnant energy happening, and it's release it. So whether it's his memory or his things or the fear of change, it's just about release. And I'm going to leave you with that. Okay.
Jasmin, who you taking?
Okay, so Tracy, you asked about ancestors that you want to partner with to balance out some old beliefs in your lineage. Okay, I see a whole lot of addiction in your family. Now, this person, so in the card, he's coming up as the ruler of wands. So he also was younger. And he talks about how he was unbalanced and he couldn't do anything, but he's been coming into your dream, trying to reach out to you and letting you know you actually don't have to fight this. You just can cut these people off. There has been a lot of deception, a lot of feeling like you don't have choices in your family. And it is up to you and in your family setting and with your future children or children, if you have them, to not pass on those old patterns, because there is a lot of toxic behavior that you all had to go through. And I feel like this is just generational. It's just from one generation to the next. And it is up to you to cut those ties. And this person is saying, yeah, I may have not been able to do it because I had to leave this world too early, but it's up to you. Right.
Okay. I'm just going to do something a little crazy here. Man, okay, I wanted to do that last one. Okay, so I have like really quick messages for several people. Because I started making a list and I was like, oh, I'll just start jotting down notes, and then it just kind of got carried away. So I'm going to do this really quickly, and then we're going to go over to talk about Heath Ledger. Okay. So these are going to be fast. So Cheryl, you asked about your dad. He said, don't worry so much. I wasn't perfect, but I loved you deeply, and I still love you. You don't have to be perfect. Kick up your feet and relax. You're loved beyond measure. Look for pennies with your dad. Stephanie T, I actually felt a grandmother step forward, and she was showing me like a recipe box. And what I felt with that is connect with your home, connect with your surroundings, cook good food. Like food and comfort with her is what's coming forward. And she's going to help you to move things forward in your own life. So access her and have her help you. Kimmy, you asked about your parents, and they said they're going to speak to you through songs. Ariel, with Marilyn and Kurt, yes. I do feel the energy of ascended masters, so I would suggest journaling and asking them for messages or connect with them. I think it was Michele that said earlier that you can connect with energy, even of celebrities. They're energy, so absolutely you can ask to connect with them. Tiara, you asked about your grandma Mildred, and she said get back to basics. It's kind of like don't be lost in all this superficial stuff out here. Like really get back to your core and what you want. But I feel like you're going to have to release some stuff out of your life. Mary H. and Sweet Eyes. Interesting. You both asked about your dad, and I both felt for both of you, these are the last two, that you'll smell him. And keep talking to your dad. So be aware if you smell something. And I was smelling smoke through my spirit nose because I don't really have a good sense of smell. But I felt this presence of smoke come in. So Mary H. and Sweet Eyes, be open to smelling your fathers. Okay. Like, why not? Just like throw it all out there. Okay. Let's talk about Heath Ledger. And in the comments, everybody watching live, can you let us know what your thoughts are on Heath Ledger? And you know what you felt around his passing. This one was a little bit more recent. So who wants to go first with Heath here?
I'll take him.
Maria's first, and then Jasmin. So Maria, go for it.
So I keep hearing it was just an accident. This was just an accident. This was just an accident. And he was such pure soul, and he was sick and just wanted to feel better. He was hiding away just because he just wanted to disappear from everything hitting him all at once. It was just needed time for rest. I keep hearing, and this was never, but obviously universe created this to happen. And his biggest, I don't want to say fear or regret because those are not terms he would use, but was feeling like he was leaving the physical body for his daughter. Sorry, this is emotional. Like this was something he truly, but he can do so much more for her from the other side at this point. He was very uncomfortable in his own skin, but he knew he had these things that he had to take care of. And yet this was truly, he didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. And that's what he doesn't have regrets because that's not his spiritual being, but he had that somewhat regret of an accident and not being able to help his daughter through her physical life in this physical body, although he will help her through spiritual life. That is his I would say one regret, and it's not a true regret, but just a sadness of that. Even though he's free, his spirit is free to roam. I feel like he is a prankster and a jokester in so many ways, that he does little things for people around that know him. And so his spirit lives on and on. But he's truly, the sadness that came with that, because it was an accident, he's been trying to help people understand that. So, and his daughter is the big one. So that's what I got from that one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Lisa Gunshore, Buddhist Biohacker, I think I'm going to try to bring her on in just a few minutes. So Lisa, if you have any thoughts on River Phoenix, Heath Ledger, or Chris Farley, be ready. All right, Jasmin, go for it.
So that was really interesting that Maria said that he didn't mean to do it, because I had that. He was having a hard time sleeping, and that he didn't expect this to be, he really wasn't trying to pass away, but he was very sad. He also talked about being extremely intuitive and sensitive. I think he had a gift and was an empath. And so he deeply felt for others. Everybody that he met, he was so connected to them. And he did wear his heart on his sleeve, because there is also this soulmate energy that kept coming up, and he loved someone so much. And I didn't realize that he had a daughter. I don't really follow too much. I just kind of took my messages as I got them, right? And very heavy energy about this love. And I wonder if that was for his daughter or this woman, because that's really was creating this instability, is that he felt like he worked so much and he was absent in this person's life, and he thought that that's why that person couldn't be around him. And he kept saying something about being unfair. It's just unfair. So it's interesting that Maria mentioned that he can do better work after for his daughter instead of, you know, there, because he did struggle with that addiction side to not have to deal with these heavy feelings he always had, and not sadness, but just being that empath, just feeling everybody. He really tried to mask that when he worked. I see he got a lot of judgment for how sensitive he was.
Yeah, totally agree. Michele, what'd you get?
So I really enjoyed connecting with his energy because, as both Maria and Jasmin said, he was really spiritual and intuitive. And like, I kind of felt that, you know, just as an observer when he was when he was alive and an entertainer, but I really felt it strongly when he came through. And basically what he told me was, I was a happy kid. I had a great life, a great family. He said he got into acting kind of as a hobby. It wasn't like, you know, like he said, I'm going to do this, but just as a hobby. And it grew really quickly. And he didn't really expect it to really go that way. It kind of caught him by surprise. But he took fame in stride. He didn't really give too much stock in it. He didn't really care about that. He just enjoyed, like, the thing he said to me was he enjoyed the opportunities that it provided for him. So like traveling, meeting new people, kind of just broadening his horizons. He tried drugs and, you know, was fine with them. He didn't have an issue, he said. But when he had his daughter, he told me that was the first time that he felt alive, truly alive. And so he was, you know, that was what his whole life was about, which is what Maria and Jasmin also said. And the last two roles, he was showing me the last two roles he really did a number on him, psychologically and physically. And he was having a really hard time just managing life, just managing being a human. And accidental, just what they said. Like he did not intend anything. The drug use that he did engage in was simply to kind of help. He was trying to get that alive feeling again, like that he had when he was with his daughter. He wanted to try to replicate that when he wasn't with her. And the message that he came through with was just love. Like, you know, he didn't care at all about the fame, the superficiality, any of that. He just cared about the people he loved in his life. And I feel like it was, you know, his daughter was like his son, but like the SUN son, not, you know, but he loved a lot of people. He loved his family. He loved the mother of his daughter. He loved people. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. So he died in 2008. He was only 28 years old. That is so sad and young. So here's what I wrote down. Deeply spiritual, kind-hearted, felt like he didn't belong in Hollywood. Wanted to be an actor, but was very uncomfortable with the scene. Would rather be a hermit. He says, the night I passed is a bit of a blur. Parts of it feel missing from my timeline. Hard coming to terms with what my life in the circus had become. I wasn't ready to leave my loved ones behind, though. I did feel a cocktail of pills, and that there was some delusion going on that I feel was associated with not sleeping. And he did have this bit about him that he was showing me about wanting to see how far he could stretch himself. But yeah, I agree with a lot of what's already been said. That, you know, very spiritual, very kind, very loving, but really did not want to be associated with the rigmarole of Hollywood. So I think we've got Lisa here. Let's try.
Hi.
All right, so Lisa is on the road today.
Wyoming. So
Wyoming.
I don't know, you know.
Oh, so I think there might be a little bit of a delay with the connection, but Lisa, if you can hear me, if you want to give any thoughts that you have as we start to close the show out today, any thoughts you have on River Phoenix or Chris Farley or Heath Ledger?
Sure. Well, hi. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm in the middle of Wyoming and there's never good signal here. Heath Ledger, I did hear what you guys said about Heath Ledger, and I totally agree. When he passed away, I had a dream about him that night, and I saw him leave his body and go, oh, and he has a sense of humor about it, I feel now. Even though it is actually very devastating to him because he had all of these visions for his life. I agree with his daughter and his love and all of those things. And so it was absolutely feels like an accident to me. He really wasn't trying to leave his body. But I also got, he was doing a lot of out of body experiences. So I agree also with like, talking about his intuition. He knew when he left his body what he was doing, and he knew he wasn't going to be able to get back in. He was not confused, I don't feel, about that at all. And then I also heard from him that he remained innocent. I think there's obviously a lot around Hollywood, and he was able to protect himself. So that is what I get about that, and I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Yes, we can certainly hear you. Yeah. And do you have any thoughts on Chris Farley or River Phoenix before we close out?
Yeah, so I would say River Phoenix, so sad. The whole thing was so sad, but he was incredibly, he had a very difficult life. I would say there was a lot of abuse, and I don't know what you ladies said because I definitely did not hear that, but I feel that he was relieved to be gone and disappointed in his life experience in general because there was a lot of difficult experiences that he went through would be what I would say on YouTube. And Chris Farley feels quick, feels sudden. It was sad, but totally expected. And I think he expected it too. So those are my 2 cents about all that.
Beautiful. I'm glad you could pop on at the very end. We're going to just do a quick circle around because we have had people asking in the comments, how do they find us? How do they book sessions? All that good stuff. So Maria, go ahead and give us your final thoughts and where people can connect with you.
Oh, yes. Final thoughts. I think, universally, we all kind of got the same thing. And even in our individual messages. So it's about, I feel like what's coming to us now is don't let the world overpower our oneness, and know that we need to stand in our own power and know that we are here for a purpose and a reason. And all of these band-aids that people try to use don't fix anything. And it's about self-clarity, self-awareness, our intuition, and our love. And I really feel like that's an overall blanket for today's messages, both between those that we brought in and those that were waiting to hear messages from the other side for them personally. So I think as we do that, this is truly about, loving each other, loving ourselves, and don't let this crazy world kind of impact our decisions on a daily basis. We have to be aware, we are empathic where we're feeling everything, but we have to know what's directly coming through us for us and to let everything else go. You can find me at Psychic Mediumship by Maria or at Feather Sage and Spirit. And then, of course, on Dallisa's site, which is Spirit and Spark. Thank you so much for hosting us. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to doing this every month with you lovely ladies.
Yeah, I've already got a list working on my end about potentials for September for people we can look at. So we'll talk about that backstage after we end the broadcast. All right, Jasmin, your turn.
Okay, so yeah, it's really sad how young all of these men were. I didn't realize until you read the ages how young they were. And so much judgment, right, from outside perspective. And when you're in that limelight, so much judgment is really, it's quite sad, especially because every single one of these men had very sensitive hearts. Okay, and yeah, I think that's a reminder that you shouldn't take the judgment from others and really follow your own true calling in your own heart and what makes you happy. And it's okay to speak out about that, and it's okay to feel, and it's okay to be expressive. I think that too many people fear speaking up when they're going through a hard time because, you know, they fear that judgment. And I think all three of these men were doing that. They feared standing up and saying that, especially with that masculine energy, to come out and say, I'm hurting, or, you know, this is going on. It's like when you're in the limelight, you look at celebrities and you see them on movies, you forget they're people with hearts and feelings. So I'm really going to take this as a reminder to be very honest about, you know, my feelings and reach out. And I hope that all of you guys, if you're going through a hard time, reach out. And of course, you can book with me if you need some guidance or clarity, but I am on Dallisa's website and at Spirit and Spark, but I'm also goddessjspiritualreadings.com, and I offer classes and readings. So yeah, thank you. And this was a lot of fun. This was my first time. I was very excited about it. I am still kind of going through a loss of my voice, but yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for being a part of this, Jasmin. All right, Michele.
Okay, so I think that just to add a little bit to the beautiful messages that Maria and Jasmin just spoke, I just want to say, going back to what Chris Farley said, you know, coping mechanisms and trauma. I think we're all in trauma, whether we understand it or not, and we're all going through a lot. So we need to be gentle with ourselves. And the most important thing, I think, is to remind ourselves every day that we are sovereign beings and that we know for us, and that we have to know for us. And if we don't know how to do that, we've got to figure it out, because at the end of the day, we're all we have. So you can reach me at MichelleSnelling.com. That's Michele with 1 L, Snelling with 2, or Micheling if you want, which I love. I love that, Dallisa. I'm going to use that. That's just kind of flow right together. And I do that myself. So, but MichelleSnelling.com, and you can do a one-on-one session with me. I have a membership called Grown Up Timeout Plus, and I'm doing a lot of fantastic events coming up in the next week or so. So thank you for having me, Dallisa. I love it as usual.
Thank you, Michele. Appreciate having you here. All right, the traveler Lisa over there, your turn.
Yeah, I just sort of dropped in, but I love you ladies so much, and I'm so sad I missed all of the show basically until the end, but you were in my energy field the whole time. But my final thoughts are, I'm doing a happy dance about Cuomo and the news that just came out. And what I want to say to all of you guys is the Sacred Council said there would be a lot of rocks starting to slide coming up in August and September. So just remember two things. One, some things are about to happen and change, and we're going to be so happy about it. Number two, remember that the reason we're talking about these men that passed is because they left a legacy. So I want to leave you guys with the thought of, what is your legacy going to be? Because we do not know how long we're going to be here, and we have to make our mark, you guys. That is why we came to this planet, and it's why we're here, and it's what this is all about, and it's what the 5 of us ladies are about. So, and it's what these men were about. We watched their movies. We loved who they were. We loved what they represented. God help us, they didn't do anything we don't want to know about. And we also want to leave that legacy behind, no matter if we leave right now or we leave, 100 years from now. So that's my final thoughts. LisaMGunshore.com. I've got sessions open right now, and Buddhist Biohacker YouTube.
Yay. Yeah, make sure that you are liking our pages, you're subscribing, Michele Snelling, Buddhist Biohacker, Spirit and Sparks TV. Make sure you're subscribing to all of our YouTube channels. We are on Maria's Facebook page as well. So make sure you're giving us some love there. It does mean a lot to us. So subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you join us back here for more live broadcasts. And if you are looking for a private session, I too have private sessions available, spiritandspark.com. And while you're there, join the Spark Plug. It's the best thing going with our world of spirituality, I feel like right now, with being able to connect in a meaningful way. And I know Lisa's got her community, Michelle's got hers, Jasmin's got a whole thing she's got brewing on her end. So Maria's got things cooking. We've all got things going on. So make sure you go follow all of us and stay connected to us. And you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. So reach out. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and say, hey, I'd really like to talk through something. We're available. So don't be shy. And we'll be doing this again soon. So thanks, wonderful ladies, for joining me on today's show. And we'll be back in September for another episode of Mysteries with the Mediums. We'll see